Moving into AFC North football divisional game, Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Is Deshaun Watson a bottom 20 QB?
Dude, this is just such a tough one.
It is so brutal. Like, he just doesn't have the juice. He doesn't have the vision. Once he's outside the pocket, he's making like no plays. The deep ball accuracy is brutal. Turnovers literally lost that team the game. The pick six, which wasn't necessarily all his fault, and the fumble were literally the reason they lost. They were the reason they lost. He's got to figure it out or they are fucked.
So I'm going to give him a pass on the pick six because I get it. But one thing was with the fumble. Dude, you are playing one of the most ferocious units in the league. What, like, at the end of the game, what's the only coaching point? Especially when we're winning. Dude, just don't give them the ball in plus territory. Just don't give them the plus territory. You know, like, and it's like, again, it's just careless. Like pumping. Dude, tuck the ball. You know, we know who we're playing. And again, this is one of those ones where it's making me look like a jackass. This was one of those
I was happy on the Browns too.
I was very, very high on the fact that it's almost like, how could Deshaun make that huge of a regression? I mean, it wasn't like there was a humongous injury or anything. Like, it was much more in the realm of what was going on off the field. And I know psychology is the thing. Maybe all that is more the reason than anything. But I think what it is when you pay a guy $300 million guaranteed. It's very again. I'm going to go back to it's very hard to get any like what is the where did the incentive go? You know,
there's no incentive.
Call me crazy.
Why do you think when they offered that he signed so quick?
Like, it was literally without even thinking. He didn't have to think. It doesn't matter where he's playing. You can send him to a foreign country to go play for that.
Send him to fucking Alaska.
Dude, I'm saying, like, it's like, no. So, again, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like a fork in the road, right? We're either going to, and there's no other way around it. He's either going to start making jumps and making those leaps and show us those splash plays, and we're going to be like, yeah, like, okay, rough start. Was to be expected, right? Like, was to be expected. It's hard to come back from those situations and and he's going to come back.
Yeah.
But it's getting harder and harder to say that because I said that when he came back first last year. I'm saying it again now. I'm giving him 2-3 more weeks at most before if he does not look comfortable, he just is not comfortable. I can't spin it.
And the Nick Chubb injury is just so crushing. Like, that was really what was keeping this offense together. And if Jerome Ford can come in and do at least 75% of what Nick Chubb does, their offense will be okay.
They still have a good offense. That's why I was like, I don't want to hear this whole like pity party now. I agree. Losing Nick Chubb is huge, and let me be clear. My heart breaks for Nick Chubb. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
my heart breaks for Nick Chubb. That's terrible. I'm pitiful towards that situation. That situation is terrible. I'm talking about a situation where we're pity partying like the Browns offense and Deshaun.
No, you can't do it.
No, I'm not doing it because, and also let me just be clear. Hold on. I know sample size different, but hey, Jerome Ford averaged more yards a carry than Nick Chubb was yesterday.
Yeah,
and he got more carries. So I'm saying, and when Jerome Ford was coming out, Jerome Ford's a good power runner. Jerome Ford's got some looseness to him. I don't think by any means he's not going to be the same world beater than Nick Chubb was.
Yeah.
But he's going to step in here and give you 70, 80 a week. And they cannot, the excuse better not be like, oh, Nick Deshaun's falling off because the run. No. And I'm not saying you are. I just can already see it coming from the Cleveland media.
Well, their old line already started to crack versus the Pittsburgh front.
No, and that's the thing too, as I've been hearing is I know Jed Wills is playing very bad. I'm very aware of that whole situation. However, Browns fans very much on like the whole like, yo, Jed is not it train and everything going on with that. But DeWan is good in pass protection. The right side's holding up just fine. Deshaun has got to look better than he's looked. I don't care even when the protection has been how it's been.
He needs to create out of structure.
That's why he's getting paid the 280 whatever, 260 whatever mil because that's what you're supposed to do. You create under false bad circumstance where that's the whole point. You have to. That's what we're paying you to do.
Yep. And they got to clean up the penalties, man. 8 for 81 is brutal. It basically cost you the game. Deshaun had 2 face masks. Like, the highlight of the game was the Browns front seven looked good. Jim Schwartz dialed it up. Their pass coverage was actually pretty good too. It ruined the Pittsburgh run game, which I'm going to get into very quickly. Najee Harris should never take another snap in the NFL. He is so bad. Beyond those 2 runs that he broke, he is horrible. What a backfield of first-round picks. Kenny Pickett and Najee Harris. The O-line was getting Pickett pressured and hit, but at the same time, Kenny's pedestrian. Matt Canada is a bum.
That's the worst situation on the team.
Matt Canada needs to go. Why is he still employed?
But then Tomlin endorsing him is just, that's the whole, that was very brutal. Very tough scene.
The Pittsburgh defense kept him in this game, and that's how it's going to be all year. If the Pittsburgh defense has to put up points for this team to win, Kenny Pickett, he was 50% on his passes, 50% completion passes, and 25% of his passing yards came from that 70-yard touchdown to Pickens.
I was going to say, and let's be real for a second. Does he look like he has chemistry with anybody besides George Pickens?
Man.
Like, he has no chemistry with these receivers. Like, there's nothing like where you're like, okay, yeah, we saw that timing was something they had practiced. Like that, they look very like in sync. There's none of that. Everything is very, very rigid. And if anything, I think that's what's killing Matt Canada is that apparently his quarterback and receivers have no chemistry. They run nothing of any type of option. It's just a very structured, rigid offense.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
It's bad, man.
Maybe that's why there's nothing like that happening. I don't know. One or the other is the case. He either runs nothing like that because nobody has chemistry or whatever. Bottom line is there's nothing going on out of structure. It's very easy to defend. And Kenny Pickett's development is going to keep hinging hard if this is the offense. There's no other way to spin it. He could play the best game of his career and still at this point have like 280 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and no receptions because the offense is just so structured.
In reality, Cleveland disappointed. And Pittsburgh, even though they won, still a disappointment. I just don't see where their offense goes. So it's like, oh, maybe the AFC North take wasn't so wasn't so good.
Bro, I mean, at this point, John Harbaugh's licking his chops.
Yeah, he's the next Chicago Bears head coach.